Greetings, everyone. This is Payment Lorenzo, your host, your friend, your coach. Today, we're kicking off day 5 of the podcast launch challenge, UK Europe class of January 2025. Can't believe the week just flew by. And we're today for the last day for the finale, and it's going to be a great one for you. So let me start sharing my screen. Where's my screen? I want to share the right screen, not the wrong screen. I have so many screens here. Okay, there you go. Oops, not this one. Why is it giving me this one? Do you guys see my screen where it says podcast launch challenge?
Yeah.
Yes.
Day 5?
5.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Let me make it bigger. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about money, how to monetize your podcast the right way. Who's excited to learn how to make money with their podcast? Who's excited?
That would
Desperately.
Okay. So now today, menu for today is going to be, we're going to be looking at where does your ideal listeners, prospect, and client hang out the most. Then we're going to be mapping out your first 10, 20, 100 episodes and beyond. Then we're going to be looking at putting it together so that you can get leads on demand and client organically through your own podcast and YouTube channel. And finally, I'm going to be talking to you about leveraging your podcast for bigger opportunities. So it might be the other way around. So anyways, agenda is the same. Any questions about what we covered yesterday? Once, twice? All
No,
right,
I just need to spend the weekend catching up with it all.
All right, cool. Yeah, sounds good. So first and foremost, now let's take a look at, so far we looked at what is your zone of genius, and then that led us to identifying what is the number one pain point you're solving and for who. And then the next piece of that puzzle is where is that person hanging out the most? For some of us, for most of us, going to be either on Facebook or LinkedIn. For me, I would say up to a year ago, it was 100% on Facebook. Now I'm starting slowly on LinkedIn. And mind you, still Facebook is where I get 90% of my prospects and clients. So Facebook group are absolute gold mine. Don't sleep on that. So for you guys, where would you say is the platform where most of your audience, your avatar, your prospect hang out?
LinkedIn for me.
For Christine?
Mm.
How about you, James?
So I haven't got the faintest idea because it's changing massively. And LinkedIn has been a 100% failure in the last year.
Okay.
I suspect it's the likes of Instagram.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know that.
Okay.
I suspect that. I still think there'll be some on LinkedIn, but it's very female orientated. So LinkedIn tends to be less.
Okay.
Improving, I think.
Interesting. What about you, Berta?
Yeah, I'm on all of YouTube. I don't even know my logins, Facebook, all of them. I'm in LinkedIn. That's where I check often. But I've got a lot of audience from the church, rather. So I really don't know how I can turn them into
No worries. Okay.
following.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. What about you, George?
Various platforms, I think. LinkedIn and Facebook, definitely.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So now let's take a look at your foundational 10, 15 episode. I introduced that briefly the other day. Now I'm going to spend more time on it. So what I would recommend, as I mentioned, before you go live, before you make it public that you're launching your podcast, I recommend you have at least, at the bare minimum, 10 episodes, ideally 20, recorded before going live and launching your podcast, so to speak. And the best way to build that is by simply interviewing people that you already know. Right here, we have 4, 5, 6 people. Just interview each other. That's the fastest way to get, so to speak, your feet wet, to get your on-the-job training, to get the hang of it. Just interview each other, get on each other's podcasts. Right there, you can have 5, 6 episodes, and then reach out to people you know, people you either worked before or people you're currently working with, and just simply tell them, hey, listen, I'm excited. I'm launching my podcast. I loved working with you, and I would love to have you to showcase you as one of my first guests on my podcast. You simply say that to them and just watch. They will be coming fiercely at you. They want to be on a podcast. So you do that. To build your 10, 15, or 20 foundational episode, it could take you at the most up to a month, depending how aggressively you want to go at it. If you want to go just with a bare minimum 10 episode, you can bang that out in 2 weeks. Seriously, in 2 weeks. If you really focus on it, one a day, within 2 weeks, you should have your 20, your 10, 15, or even 20 episodes. And once you do have reached those, then you can go and invite the people that you want to really interview your prospect. It's very important for you to have that foundational base for two main reasons. One is that is going to be your portfolio, so to speak. When you finally get to inviting people that you don't know yet, the first thing that they will do, that's human nature, is to check your podcast. If they see you have less than 5, 10, not interested. But if you see you have many episodes, even more than 10, that's sending them all the right signals. They want to be here. And also the second reason is that's going to be literally on-the-job training for you to learn how to identify those people, invite them, schedule them, put everything as far as the tech side, plugging everything, recording, editing, publishing, promoting, and all that good stuff. That's literally, as I said, your on-the-job training. So that's why you need to have those foundational episodes. Now, once you've done that, then you can simply go out and identify. Once you've identified your ideal prospects, you simply invite them onto your podcast. As simple as that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Now let's talk about. We're all here for this because we want to be able. We want to have the podcast to open new doors, new opportunities for us. For example, some of the opportunities that it brought into my life, for example, and can do for you as well once you really get going with your podcast. It's going to open up the doors for joint ventures, collaborations, publishing your book and becoming a #1 international best-selling author, published author. Make sure you watch the video I shared from the US call this this morning for me, where Mary Gooden, my publisher, came and she talked for about 20 minutes about the tremendous power of books. And then, of course, it can also open up the doors for you for public speaking, becoming a keynote speaker, TED Talks, and so on and so forth, because your podcast, your YouTube channel is literally your portfolio. You want to apply to become not just apply, but be considered for public speaking, talks, corporate trainings, whatever. Then just shoot them the link to your YouTube channel or podcast, and that's the best way to do so. And of course, TV and radios and God knows what else. So it's an amazing launching pad for much bigger things. For example, for me, blessed me with four books. The first two, they were a multi-authored book with me writing a chapter in Mary's books. First one was in March of 2022, second in July of 2022. And then the last two have been books from my podcast where I simply invited people from my podcast to come share their story and my books. And now I'm working on volume number 3, which will be scheduled to launch for March of this year. And sorry, not March, for May, June. And volume 4 is going to be around October, on my birthday. So that's what I'm working on right now. So again, the books are incredible. They're best business cards and so on and so forth. But of course, another tremendous blessing for me was this TED Talk that literally landed on my lap as a result of my podcast. And now I've been invited to be a keynote speaker in March to a major conference here for entrepreneurs and digital nomads, and to be a keynote speaker to talk about getting leads and clients, podcasting organically. So again, the sky is literally the limit. There's no limit what you can achieve. And all of this because of that thing. My favorite question to ask on my podcast, and that's the last question I ask all my guests. I don't know if you remember that, James and Christine. The last question I asked you was, what is the smallest thing you've done in your life that has had the biggest, most profound impact in both your life and business? For me, by far, has been starting my podcast. So now let's do some out loud thinking. What about you? What are your goals? What do you really want to achieve to your podcast beyond just getting clients? Beyond that, because that's a given. You will get clients if you do it the right way. But what about beyond that? Like, for example, as I mentioned, for me, it blessed me with, say, joint ventures, published author, speaker, conferences, and so on and so forth. Let's hear it for you. What do you have in mind? Don't suppress, don't self-censor. Give yourself permission to think big. Let's go from left to right on my screen, starting with Berta. Keep it short, sweet.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for me to be able to assist as many as possible to see my first one is marriages, are breaking. So to be able to impact people with that. And then internationally educated nurses as well to make sure they are settling in well. And then the last but not the least, to be able to be financially sound, to be able to help the less privileged. I want to build an orphanage for
Okay, wow.
in Ghana. Yeah.
Beautiful. Love that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Christine.
Sorry, I'm still eating toast.
No worries, no worries. Bon appetit. Enjoy.
Just outrageous. It's outrageous.
What do I want? Oh, I want to do a lot more speaking. I want to spread a lot of knowledge from projects that we've done. I want to see them being done more. I don't know, live another 5 years. That's it.
That's plenty already. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing it. George.
I was born in London and I'm now living in Sussex, and I want the podcast to give me a wider platform to show, one, to be a role model, to show very much, I've heard it here today so many times in the week, that if I can do it, they can do it, to actually just be a voice and a visual example. And I just feel that this platform just gives me wings, legs, loads of space to just show people that they can do it. And
Absolutely.
that's
I love that. It's just like even beyond what Red Bull can say, it gives you more than wings. It gives you an impact, a reach, a purpose. Awesome. Last but definitely not least, James.
So the podcast for me so what I'm looking for is a platform for people to just connect with me and become a safe place. So initially it's for women to see that if I listen to this person, I'm going to find somebody who is on my side, can help me, support me, where I can find community to be helped and supported. So it's kind of that. So I suppose he says, thinking out loud, what I'm looking for the podcast to give me is credibility with my audience based on content.
Beautiful. Love that. Love that. Thank you. Ruth, are you here? Do you want to share yours?
Yes.
Hello,
I'm
nice
not
to meet you.
I'm not 100% sure, but I really want to use the podcast to reach out to professional women and encourage them to find ways, strategies, offer them the strategies they can use to create harmony in their lives. Because many professional women, especially those with young families, are overstressed, overstretched, and literally paralyzed and don't know what to do. So I'm hoping to give them strategies.
Beautiful. Love that.
Of how they can create harmony or be able to integrate their professional commitments with their family responsibilities, but also be conscious of the need for self-care. That is what is playing up in my mind. I'm not sure how to really make it success very precise and ready to put it out there.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. Love that vision. Gifty, are you there?
I'm there. I'm just saying
What about you?
to support what Ruth has said. She's got them. She's already experienced those things, so she's the author of what she's saying.
Wow.
Anyway, for mine, I think you've heard it, is to to have a voice, and also make sure people realize that the strength is inside them in overcoming anything. And again, challenges are temporary, depending on how we see it, how we are built up, how we all have it. And so that, because many seem to be broken, but we as a Christian, we are overcomers, and I just want that message across. And then the additional bit is, I'm seeking to raise funds for a lot of things that I'm involved. As Bertha said, to support people. I'm already supporting the widow, so many people. I personally think I've been blessed, and I can extend that to many out there.
Beautiful. Love that. Love that vision. Thank you, Gifty, for sharing it. All right, cool. Let's move on. I want to some reminders and some powerful principle of business that I learned in the process I want to share with you guys. I'm pretty sure you guys already know that. You've been in business long enough. One of the most powerful realization I come across myself has been that of your client customer has to care first about the problem before they can care about the solution, you and your offer. This is very important. Let me repeat that. Your client or customer has to care first. Okay, let me allow Misha. Has to care first about the problem before they can care about the solution, you and your offer. What does that mean? That means that they need to first understand what is the problem. We don't know what we don't know. As I mentioned yesterday and the day before, one of our key main tasks as coaches, mentors, activators is to educate our prospect, our market as to what is the problem. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you here. The two main tasks when talking to any prospect. Number one is educating them so they understand fully what is the problem they are facing, why the problem is here in the first place, what would happen if they don't take any drastic action to fix it. And because you will be the one that's going to make them become aware of the problem, guess what that's going to do for you? That's going to elevate you and their mind to be their go-to person. You will be their expert, their leader, their expertise. Competition doesn't even come into consideration here, because you're the one actually cared enough to make them understand what is a problem in a very sincere way, authentic way, without trying to sell, but to help. And once they understand fully the problem, the scope of the problem, the amplifications, then the next logical question in their mind is, oh, wow, how do I fix this? Well, glad you asked. That's why I'm here for. So when you follow this principle, this process, you literally don't even have to pitch. It's a natural, automatic, organic progression because it's based on trust. If you sincerely help the person to win, to help them really understand the problem, then they will view you as their expert, their go-to person. Do you see how that makes sense? That's the first one. And the second one is, the second most important task we have, doesn't matter what prospect you're talking to, you have to make them believe and realize that they can do it. They can achieve the result you're trying them to get. It's one thing for me and you to do it, but what about me? What about you? And what I mean by this is this. We all of us, no exception, whenever we're looking at an offer, at a potential to invest into something, we have these three key questions in our mind. Number one, can I trust this person? Can I trust him or her? Number two, can he or she, is he or she qualified and competent? And the big one, that's the most important question that you have to help them solve is, can I do it? Me. Can I do it? That's the main question you have to help them understand. And how do you help them to get there? By first educating them. And when you're educating them, by sharing your story, you display your expertise. Hey, I've done this. I've been in your shoes. I'm here for you. And if you do that in a very authentic way, then you will earn their trust and they will see you as their, so to speak, not just an expert, but a savior in some way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Now, when I say educate your audience, what I mean that in order to achieve that, we need to do these 4 things. We need to be very specific as what is the problem? What is the reason why the problem exists in the first place? And then what are the consequences of the problem if they don't address it? And what's the ultimate negative outcome as a result of inaction? For example, for me, the number one thing I help my clients is to help them solve the lack of clarity by helping them having laser focus clarity. So if they have no clarity, what's going to happen? I help them understand why they don't have clarity. Is because all of them map. They don't know what pain point is solving and for who. And as a result of that, the message is completely diluted, doesn't connect with anyone. And when that happens, their message doesn't resonate with anyone. They're not getting any leads, let alone any clients. And when that happens, no clients, no revenue, no business. No business, you have to go back, look for a job. That's the bottom line. You have to make them feel the pain in a very vivid way. Make them understand, hey, this is a problem. This is why you have this problem. And this is what's going to happen if you don't take drastic action right now. And when you make them become aware of that, then the rest becomes so much easier. The next question in their mind is, oh, wow, thank you. How do I fix this? Well, glad you asked. That's what I'm here for. Because you were the one that made them become fully aware of the problem. They view you as their go-to person, their expert. And as a result, it doesn't matter if someone else comes and charges less. Because at that point, it's not about, if you've done the work properly, it's not about the money anymore. It's about the trust. I would gladly pay someone that I trust more than paying someone I don't know less. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
See what I mean? That's exactly it. Because it's all about trust. Especially if I'm selling this bottle of water for £1, you don't need to know me. You're thirsty, you want it, you buy it. But if I'm selling you a 5,000, 10,000 pound program, then you definitely want to know me, talk to me, get to know me, see I can help you. And also you want to know if you can trust me, if I can do what I'm saying I can do, and if I can make you understand the problem and get you to get there. That's a different ballgame than selling something at cheap. High ticket selling is all about one thing and one thing only, which is trust. I have repeated that numerous times so far. I hope by now you really understand that, because this is the key here. And this is the process we build that trust by educating them, by speaking from the heart, by building rapport, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Here is something very important. You have to make them believe and realize that what you're offering, that they can do it. It's one thing for you to do it, for your other students and clients to do it, but the ultimate question we all, without exception, are asking in our mind is, can I do it? Can I do it? And again, how do we solve that? We solve that by first giving them a taste of a win ASAP. Show them that they can get a quick win, a quick result in the right direction. For example, let's say you're trying to help someone lose 20 pounds or 2 dress sizes, or as you guys say in the UK, lose, say, 5 stones. That's quite a lot, right? But to get there, give them to lose just 1 or 2 pounds in the next 7 days. That's very achievable. Just 2 pounds. Help me lose 2 pounds. That's something concrete I can see. Get them that momentum, get them that believe in themselves. Do you see how that works?
Yeah.
Because if you give them a taste of a quick win, they will get motivated. They start to believe in themselves. Oh, that's it. I can do that. Your hardest job is to make the person believe and realize that they can do it. If you can get to that point, get them to believe they can do it, game over. Game over. The sale is in the pocket. Not just the sale, but you've earned an amazing friend, an evangelical, person that's gonna sing your praises left and right. And to achieve that, we need to have a laser focus, crystal clear offer. And that goes hand in hand with having clarity. And that's going to give us also a very specific outcome because they want to know what exactly they're getting. And even more so, to go even deeper on that, here's another very powerful principles that completely changed my business once I not only understood it, but started implementing it. And that is a quantifiable, measurable end result. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that these are the 4 key elements that everyone is asking when they're looking at an offer. What is a specific pain point being addressed? What are they going to do to get there? What are they getting? What is the dream outcome? And how long will it get them to get that result? They want to know what is it, doing what, and how long. For example, let's take back the example of losing weight. Let's say you want to help someone to lose. If your offer is, let me help you get fit with no timeline, no exact numbers, it's pretty vague. But if you say, let me help you lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days with just one exercise, 5 minutes a day. Now that's very specific. You see what I mean? They know exactly what they do. Or let me give you another example. Instead of saying, let me help you become a 6-figure coach or make $10,000 selling products online, what if I were to show you how to get your first paying client in the next 30 days using only the power of LinkedIn or Facebook? Show me how to get that first paying client. And after that, once I've got that first paying client, all I have to do is simply replicate those steps to get client number 2, client number 3, 4, 5. And before you know it, that's when you reach your goals, whatever that may be. 10,000 a month, 6-figure a year, and so on and so forth. See what I mean? Concrete, be very specific. Have a quantifiable, measurable end result, meaning what exactly they're getting, step by step, and give them a timeline. This is very key. For example, for my academy, my timeline is, I'm going to help you get your first paying client through your podcast in as little as 30 days from the moment you launch your podcast. That's very specific. First paying client in as little as 30 days from the moment you launch your profitable podcast. As long as you follow the steps I'm giving you. Do you see how that works and how much more compelling that is? Does that make sense for you guys?
Yeah.
This is a very,
Yeah, it
very
does.
important principle. Quantifiable, measurable, end result. This principle alone is one of the reasons that I was able to get back on my feet, to get over 100 clients with a YouTube channel of less than 200 subscribers. Because again, people want to know what exactly they're getting, doing what, and how long. These are normal questions we all ask. When you address those key elements, what is it I'm getting, doing what, how long, by doing what, that answers all your doubts. The only question you have in your mind is, wow, what's the next step? How do I start? See what I mean? If you don't have all of the elements of the quantifiable, measurable end result, then you will leave the person confused. What does she mean? What do I have to do? Doing what? How long is it going to take me? Can I do it? And as we all know, a confused mind doesn't take any action. Do you see how that works? So again, very, very powerful, very important. This is a non-negotiable element of a successful offer in business. You must have a quantifiable, measurable end result. That's why it's so important that your offer is as clear as possible. So when your prospect sees it, hears it, or reads it, it's very clear in their mind. They know exact it answers right away. What is the specific pain point address? What's the dream outcome? What do they have to do? How long is it going to take them to get there? These are the key elements that everyone wants to know when we're looking at an offer. And by having a successful, quantifiable, measurable end result, you will address that. That I wasn't supposed to share that with you guys, but I felt that this is indispensable. I needed to share that, otherwise it would be incomplete. But this is way beyond the scope of this little 5-day challenge. If I were to, I can do an entire program just on that. Actually, I spend an entire week inside my academy going through the quantifiable, measurable, end result. But I want to introduce that so you guys are aware of it and present that to you in the most easiest, digestible way so you can understand and implement that. Let me catch up with messages. Hello, Michelle. Yes, exactly. The what, the why, when, and how. Exactly. Oh, Christine, that is gold. Yes, absolutely. Thinking that the podcast could take the place of a discovery call. That's exactly what I've been doing. I don't do discovery calls. I call my discovery calls, sorry, I call them meet and greet. Because everybody is sick and tired of going into another discovery call and then after that followed by a sales call. Nobody wants that. But instead, whenever I talk to someone, I say, listen, it's not a sales call. It's not a discovery call. It's a meet and greet. Let's get to know each other. Again, because the point of that is one thing and one thing only. Build that trust with them. Build that trust, build that rapport, and that opens the door to everything else. Okay, cool. Hello, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. So do you guys understand, first of all, do you guys understand how powerful and important it is to have a quantifiable, measurable end result in your offer?
Yeah.
Very clear, right?
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're not talking, please mute yourself. Okay, let me.
Eamon, how would you address that from the perspective of confidence and where there isn't something specific? So it's not a losing weight, it's not a lifting or something. It's less tangible. Where would you go with this will increase, to transform a relationship, to build your confidence with a technique? You could learn how to do it in a period of time, but the actual doing of it is out of our hands. So
yes, for those
I might have asked my
intangibles,
own question, but advice, please.
yeah, great question. For those intangibles, it's the same principle. Break it down to the lowest common denominator. What is the one thing that's going to give you the result? So if it's a lack of confidence, find what is the root of the cause and what do they need to do to change their story so they can build again slowly their confidence. For me, for example, when I started 4 or 5 years ago, I had no self-confidence, even negative self-confidence, extremely shy. For me, it was just keep doing podcasts, talking, because before becoming confident, you have to become comfortable. For me, I was shy. I was very self-conscious because I have a big nose, no hair. I used to be fat. I didn't want to be on a camera. I had to learn to become comfortable first in order to become confident, step by step. Does that make sense? Slowly. So to summarize, I would probe with them, find what is the deeper cause. What is the one thing that if they were to change, that's going to lead them on the path to rebuilding and regaining the confidence. So if you probe enough with the right questions, you will get them. Maybe something that they heard while growing up from their parents. Oh, you're not good enough. What do you think you are? Find the source of where is that coming from. Again, the easiest way is, the very simplified way is change your story, change your life. Now, how do you change your story? By identifying the actual source of where that false belief is coming from. Does that answer your question, James?
Yep, yes, thank you. It's reinforced it.
Very welcome. All right, cool. All right, next. As I mentioned earlier, remember, the number one reason most coaches, entrepreneurs, especially online, struggle to get any leads or any clients with any consistency is because they lack clarity. They want to help everyone with all of the issues. Oh, let me help you with your mindset, your fitness, your finances, your relationships, your kitchen, your garden, your garage, and everything else under the sun. That's a beautiful, commendable goal, but that's something only God can do. Not even Tony Robbins can do. But we're not God. We're not Tony Robbins. What we are a piece of God. So what we need to focus on is one specific pain point for one specific person. How do you identify that? Going back to identifying what is your zone of genius. And that's going to give you what is your gifts. And simply, you will know what, once you know what is your gift, what is zone of genius, you will know right away who you can help with what pain point, and simply focus on helping that person. And as I mentioned on day 3, I believe, on Wednesday, ideally your avatar is someone that resembles you as much as possible, that even looks like you, that resonates with you, relates with you, identify with you. And ultimately, your avatar is no one else than yourself. Just a few steps ago, when you were starting, if you build your offer, your messaging, your business, and ultimately your podcast the way you wish existed when you were starting, you're golden. Because again, when someone is looking for a coach, they're not looking for a disconnected millionaire or billionaire. They're looking for someone who's 1, 2, 3, or at most 4 steps ahead of them. Someone they can identify with, relate with, resonate with. Someone is accessible and reachable. Someone that is just like them. Does that make sense? Cool,
Yeah.
awesome. Now let's take a look at an actual negative consequence of a lack of clarity, which is the cost of a lack of clarity. Let's do some brainstorming and let's get a little bit vulnerable here. How much do you think it's costing you by not having clarity in your offer and your business each month? Just throw away a figure. How much per transaction is that costing? How much money are you leaving on the table by not having crystal clear, laser focused clarity? And how much more can you charge if you did have that laser focused clarity in your offer? Let's go around quickly, 30-second each person. Again, starting from the first person on my screen, Berta.
I've not even thought about it. You know, come back to me, please.
Okay, no problem. James.
Most of it.
So give us a percentage, a ratio.
Well, it's difficult right now because I haven't launched it, but
Okay.
lack of clarity would cost me almost all of it.
Okay.
It'd be the overwhelming majority.
Okay. Next, Michelle.
Um,
Sorry?
I'm like James because I've not even number one, I haven't thought about it, and number two, I'm not in that position yet where my idea has even been launched yet. So yeah,
Okay.
You're gonna have to skip me also. Sorry.
No worries. What about you, Christine?
Again, I'm a bit difficult because I didn't have clarity after Brexit. Brexit just totally took everything away from me almost overnight. So I didn't have clarity on what I could do the next morning, really. And it's taken me a long time to crawl back to what can I offer. But regarding clarity, I was doing a European project with a group of partner countries. And 2 years into the project, we were not delivering. We're not delivering what we said we were going to. So I had to literally say to these 5 partner countries, you've got to do this, this, and this. And they said, well, why? And I said, quite honestly, because if you don't, you're going to lose €500,000 by next November.
Wow.
That made them all sit up and shake and do it. And yeah, we were still a long way behind, but we did deliver. So that was, I think that's the best example I could think of, sort of off the top of my head.
And that's a great example because you exemplified right away, right there, what I was talking earlier about making your client understand in a vivid way the pain, what is a problem, why it's here in the first place, and what's going to happen if they don't take drastic action about it. You said if they don't take any action, it cost them €500,000 in the next, few months, and that made them shake in their boots.
Yeah.
That's why they had to take action. So again, you have to make them feel the pain. What's going to happen if they don't take any action?
and sometimes you have to be brave because they didn't like it.
Yes.
They didn't like me for saying that.
Of course.
No, they were not happy at all. But I was going to lose my share of that 500,000 as well. So I was in a position of I've got to make them see sense because I was going to lose out as well.
Yeah, sometimes we need to be the one to start difficult conversation, because if you want to solve a problem, you have to get outside of your comfort zone. And getting outside of the comfort zone starts with difficult conversations. Thank you for sharing that, Christine. Ruth, what about you?
I haven't started yet, but I think lack of clarity is already costing me a lot by my inaction. I'm not able to take any action towards starting my business. So it is costing me everything.
Yes, I can imagine. Wow. Gifty, thank you for sharing that, Ruth.
I think for me, lack of clarity means you are losing out or you become complacent, nothing is done. And but in terms of my clients that are my proposed clients, if I'm losing my belief system, for example, the mindset change, and they are not ready to take action to practice empowering thoughts and perception about themselves, majority tend to become unhappy, dissatisfied. They don't, they tend to not to work anyway. And whilst you may be in a position to work, so those are the areas that I'm seeking. But of course, for me, I'm working on it drip. And I have to have specific time. I have some plan my achievement by next month per se, small, because I'm blessed to be working full time. So I'm juggling both sides. But I think for my clients, I need to be clear. What is the problem I see? And what are the consequences? And then how am I going to help them change to the better version?
Indeed. Thank you for sharing that, Gifty. George.
For me, although I'm in the same position as everybody else, not started, but am starting, the cost of lack of clarity is my beginning. I need to have firm clarity in what I'm offering, so my clients, my subscribers know exactly what I'm offering. Because at the beginning, if they see that I'm not clear, there's no trust, there's no business, So for me, it's so important at the beginning for me personally to have clarity in exactly what I'm doing, showing what I'm doing, so they too know what I'm offering.
Yes, very true. As I said many times, clarity is the name of the game. The more clarity you have, the more magnetic your message will be. The more magnetic your message will be, guess what? The more money you will make. Simple as that. That's the bottom line. All right, cool. Let's move on. Thank you for sharing that, guys. Now, I'm going to talk to you more about the incredible importance of having crystal clear, laser focused clarity for your business. Because as I mentioned, when you have clarity in your message, that becomes magnetic. Magnetic means more money. Now, other tremendous benefits of having a laser focused clarity in your messaging. You will attract a much higher caliber of prospects and clients because a laser focused messaging and offer attract people who know exactly what they want. And people who know what they want, guess what? They're successful. They're able and willing to pay you accordingly. Does that make sense? And also, people who listen, as I mentioned on day 2, I believe, people who listen to podcasts understand the value of self-investment. They're disciplined. They're more successful. They make more money, and they have more disposable income to invest in themselves, and more importantly, to invest in self-development program like yours and mine. because they understand the value of it. And as I mentioned also a few times, your very best clients will be your podcast listeners because they have that connection, rapport, and trust with you that non-listeners do not have. I talked extensively on that on Tuesday on day 2. Feel free to go back and watch that day because that day is, I spent an entire day on that so you guys can fully comprehend the tremendous power and value of podcasting, not just for your business, but most importantly for you as a person. This is very powerful, important. So do you guys understand now how powerful it is to, it's honestly, it's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable condition for success in business to have clarity, not just in business, but also in life. You need to know what you want. Let's say you get on your car. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to go anywhere. Same thing here. And again, as I mentioned, your very best clients will be your podcast listeners. As I mentioned also, up until last summer, 100% of my clients came from my podcast. Let me repeat that. 100% of my clients came from my podcast. Why is that? Again, because of that trust. It's all about trust. High ticket selling, anything over $1,000, pounds or euros, about one thing and one thing only. Start with a T, ends with a T, 5 letters, trust. Now, how do you build that trust? By building rapport. How do you build that rapport? By having heart-to-heart conversations, by being authentic. Now, how about you? Can you relate with that? Are you struggling to get leads, any leads, let alone clients consistently because your messaging is not clear and not laser focused? Some of you mentioned you don't even have started that process yet. Do you think you will go in the right path if you lack clarity? Let's say you get on your car. Let's say you want to go to London. Very simple example, very silly example. If you have no clue where London is, do you think you're going to end up in London? No. Same thing here. So again, if your messaging is not clear, your offer will not resonate with anyone. If that happens, guess what? No leads, no clients, no money, no business. And you're facing the real threat of shutting down your business and getting a JOB. As simple as that. Now, can you relate with any of these? As I mentioned before, wondering where your next client is, forget client, your next lead is coming from. Are you tired, for example, of not being seen or getting any visibility in a crowded red ocean market? Are you tired of charging so low that you're always struggling to make ends meet? That was me. Are you tired of attracting prospects with think that anything over $100 is too expensive? Anything over $500 is obscene? Are you tired of people asking you for a payment plan on a $500 program? I've been there, done that. That's not a fun way to do business. So again, are you tired of not having a reliable system where you can get your exact ideal avatar leads on demand and clients organically without spamming, even if you have no audience? Can you relate with any of that? I saw some nods. Yes.
Yes.
Now, what are you going to do to change that?
Go on a podcast, Learning with Payment.
Great answer. You're a very fast learner, my friend. Are you trying to
He
bribe
wants
me?
10% off. That's what he wants.
Hey, James, are you trying to bribe me?
No, I wasn't trying. I was going for a blatant.
Wow, good one. I have a pretty sweet offer for you guys later. So anyways, let's stay tuned. Let's get going. I might do that.
Hey, my friend, I have to jump.
Okay. Hey, James,
I gotta
tomorrow,
go to-
are you going to join us at 9 a.m.?
Yes.
I have a question to ask every one of you. We have another 30 to 45 minutes to go. Do you want us to stop now and resume that tomorrow?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Because I don't want to get this is a very important lesson today. I want to get that especially tomorrow morning when you're all fresh. Let's continue that tomorrow at 9 a.m. UK time.
Yeah.
Let's send the video of this and the WhatsApp and then send you the link for tomorrow call, okay?
Okay.
Right. I think
Yeah.
Ruth, you were not aware. Are you?
Sorry?
We've got another session tomorrow. I won't be there. I'm talking
Okay,
about
that's
Ruth.
fine. You can watch the replay, Gifty. Tomorrow
I will watch the replay. I'm fine.
I'm
But
gonna be doing
for-
2 things tomorrow. I'm gonna be ending this lesson, and then I'm gonna be doing another lesson, as I mentioned, showing you how to talking about hosting and submitting your podcast to all its directories.
Okay, that's fine.
How do I access tomorrow's session?
Who said that? Is that you, Michelle?
No,
No.
Ruth.
No, Ruth.
Ruth, I'm gonna give you my
The
WhatsApp.
same link, isn't
Will,
it?
will you just post it in the group?
Yes,
She's
yes.
not
let
in
me-
the group yet, so if
Okay.
she
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not
her
in the
number,
group.
you
Ruth,
can give.
here's my
Give
check the chat. I'm gonna share my WhatsApp. Please add me. 289-987-9166. This is a Canada number. Just add me. And if you're not in the WhatsApp group, send me your WhatsApp and I'll add you. We have a WhatsApp group.
for this group only.
Yes, just for
It's
us,
this group.
yeah. So again, 289-987.
Okay, but take care, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
See you guys. Thank
Okay.
you.
It's
Bye,
tomorrow morning.
George.
Have a
Okay.
fantabulous day.
Bye.
Bye,
Take care.
George. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.